be having our panel 4 right now. This is actually a panel that I'm very interested in, excited about, because our panelists are very esteemed, very OG in this industry. I've spoken to them, all of them, and all of them are very OG in this industry with very degen vision in degen vision for every sectors. So I call them senpai. I call all of them senpai, right? So now we're having this panel unlocking the potential of future finance in Web3. It sounds very generic, but I believe with our very expert VCs and projects, we're going to cover a lot of very interesting insights. So first of all, we will start from a roll call, an introduction. So I will have Arno first.
Yeah, thank you. To have the honor to speak here. I'm not nervous, I'm just cold. Yeah, just come with grab ride, with a heavy rain, so I'm really cold. Yeah, I'm the co-founder of Bilai Labs and also the board member of RMPPP Association. So RMPPP Association is the official organization of RGB protocol, and Bilai Labs is one of the major contributors to RGB protocol, the native smart contract protocol for Lightning Network and Bitcoin. And yeah, I just came to Lugano to attend another meeting called the Plan B Forum, where every Bitcoin OGs and early adopters gather and share their point of view about Lightning Network and Bitcoin. And RGB definitely is a buzzword in Switzerland. And I met guys from Tether, Bitfinex, and other Bitcoin educators like Sensimao and I'm back and so on. And they are totally bullish on the Bitcoin ecosystem, especially the native one, how to use Bitcoin and others, define stablecoin on Lightning Network and Bitcoin to as a payment settlement layer for the global financial settlement. So we will see the future of Bitcoin to be spent. To be expand further, to be closer to the original purpose of Satoshi Nakamoto, the peer-to-peer electronic cash system. So we are building towards the future with this vision. Thank you.
Hey everyone. Well, sorry about that. My name is Kevin. I am the founder and general partner of a newly launched Bitcoin-focused fund. It's called Sats Ventures. To date, we have deployed about $900,000 investing in super early stage companies that are building on Bitcoin.
Yeah, hello everyone. This is Jetman from Water Drip Capital. I have been in this industry for more than 10 years. Before I entered crypto industry, I was an engineer, chip design engineer. And Water Drip Capital was founded in 2017. And from 2017 to 2021, we were in Shanghai, and then we moved to Hong Kong because of the regulation issue in China, mainland China. And we were the very first crypto institutional investors in Hong Kong who got crypto license in last year. And we cooperated with one traditional financial institution called CPIC, HK Investment Company. That is a state-owned company of mainland China. And we focus on infrastructure investment since day one. And we have invested in over 200 projects, especially for Bitcoin Eco. Yeah, that's our focus in the past 2 years. In addition to Bitcoin ecosystem, we also deployed some capital in RWA, Telegram Eco, and some upcoming new technology. Yeah, thank you.
We should call this panel the future of BTCFi, because we have so many people who are bullish on Bitcoin here. Anyways, my name is Juliet. I'm a founding partner of New Tribe Capital. We're quite active in the UAE. We started 4 years back, 2020, invested in 200 plus companies, different sectors, also quite active in Bitcoin ecosystem. That's basically about myself.
Well, I'm actually very excited about this panel because I think for all our panelists add on, it's over 50 years of experience in crypto, right? So I think there will be a lot of very OG insights regarding crypto, especially the Bitcoin industry, because we got BitLive, we got SaaS Ventures, we got Waterdrip that has deployed a lot in Bitcoin ecosystem, and then we got Julia, who's very OG in the field and also in Dubai. So I think speaking of Bitcoin, what has been very interesting and exciting recently is the price, right? Because of the U.S. election, I still remember I was at an event on Monday. The DJ was saying, "Oh, Bitcoin 83K," and then 2 hours later, 86K, and then after one night, it's already 90K. Now we're heading to 100K, I believe. So after the election, what do you think with this kind of price impact and how Trump and Elon Musk joined the White House? How would this impact the way of institutions viewing on Web3 or adopting Web3? May I have Arnold first?
Okay. So I think the market has priced in the president election of Donald Trump, as Trump recently nominated a lot of pro-Bitcoin and pro-crypto bureaucracy officers within his cabinet. So we see a lot of pro-Bitcoin congressmen, congresswomen, and senators who completely clearly show their intention to support Bitcoin and the crypto industry in the future. So I think the market has pricing the advantage of a Trump election, but I still believe that there will be much higher space. As for now, the surge of Bitcoin is due to firstly the emotion coming from the election of Trump, and also from the buying power of the Bitcoin ETF. But later, after the liquidity being increased, after the Fed cutting rate, I think we can see a more crazy market in the future, possibly probably in the next year. Thank you.
From an institutional perspective, the one thing that we have to always consider is that the regulatory landscape in America has not been set. So what does that mean? That means that everybody was basically acting upon an environment where there are no clear rules and regulations around the crypto space. So where we are today is pre that institutional level, right? Yes, there are institutions that are buying ETFs, there are institutions that are buying Bitcoin for their reserves, but if we think about a lot of the builders and a lot of the companies here, they are scared shit to register their company in the US. They're scared shit if they're US founders to be able to launch token. And that's because we haven't had these rules and regulations in place. And now that we have a pro-crypto government in the US, a lot of that is going to change. So what does that mean? That means that potentially liquidity from a lot of these US-based institutions may be coming to crypto, and I don't think that's priced in yet.
May I ask one question? When do you think Gary Gensler will step down?
I think I saw a post saying that he will resign. I don't know if this is true or not. You know, we have a lot of fake news, but I'm going to assume. I'm not going to assume anything, okay? Yeah.
Well, talking about the America election, I think that was the biggest thing in the past few months. To be honest, being a Chinese, a mainland Chinese, I hope more for Harris, because Harris is more friendly regarding the policy with China. But as a Bitcoin holder, yeah, of course I prefer Trump, but very likely Trump won, and it's not a normal one, it's like a sweeping success. So it's, God bless Bitcoin holder. Well, talking about the future of the institutional investor, I think, of course, I agree with what Kevin said. We have a bright new future, and I have heard that Trump administration, they are planning to eliminate some tax from token-related company in the U.S., which was the biggest problem in the past. And that is also very beneficial to the whole industry. Not to mention that they probably will decide whether to keep Bitcoin as the reserve of issuing US dollar. That is very important because I think US will be the first, but not the last one to keep Bitcoin as reserve. Imagine how many countries will follow. I think European countries will follow. Japan, Korea probably will follow. So we don't have so many Bitcoins for them to reserve, before Trump won, I think, probably the rooftop of Bitcoin was like 150K. Right now, I believe it's 1 million. Yeah, very probably. Yeah. So if Bitcoin reaches 1 million, it's the same market cap as gold. That's not very far. So yeah, that's very bullish. Yeah.
Wow, it sounds very bullish. And what about Dubai, Julie?
Well, I'm not gonna talk about Bitcoin to balance this panel.
Can I just add one sentence?
Yes.
Yeah, I just read the news this afternoon that UAE probably will be the second country to buy Bitcoin as reserve. Probably some rumor, but some news. Yeah.
I believe it's moving this way. So
Verify, please.
okay. I will talk about that from the other perspective because, as I mentioned, to balance this panel, I'm not going to talk about Bitcoin because overall we are speaking about institutional adoption, and when we are speaking about institutional adoption, apart from the ETF, there is RWA, which is also the gateway to the institutional mass adoption. And by some chance, I joined another panel a few days back about RWA, and so we've got an overall discussion about that. So what's happening is that usually all the things are led by financial institutions. And then, of course, we need to discuss regulations and then that the financial institutions are going to get into the space. So, for example, talking about the UAE, so we've got the stablecoin announced by the bank in the UAE. So that's the first way, because before getting into crypto, you need to have the stable money operate in crypto, right? So actually, if we think about USDT is actually the first RWA because it's backed by real assets. So that's the way. And for that, of course, we need to have on one hand as financial institution banks to create some Bitcoin related products. Of course, it's happening nowadays, and regulators, there are a few tokenization companies being regulated by VARA in Dubai already, and we're slowly moving that way. But on the other hand, I want to talk about other things. Before getting to institutions, they need to see the traction. They need to see that the money is in Web3. So that's why, first of all, we need to have the proper retail and getting in. And then we have retail and liquidity in the space. Of course, it's going to be super attractive for institutions to jump in. So it should be step by step. Now we are getting there with all the hype around Bitcoin price skyrocketing. For institutions, it's becoming more and more interesting. So, and then with the more retail coming into the space, we're going to get there. Probably not that fast as we would love to see that, but of course we will.
I think. Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
So when we talk about institutional adoption, what exactly do we mean? Because I think that there's different levels of institutional adoption. I mean, if we think about it, ETFs are basically institutional, right?
Yeah.
And we can consider that as extreme institutional adoption. And it's not just an ETF in the US, we have ETFs all over the world now.
Yeah.
And I know we're always really interested in kind of institutions just purely buying Bitcoin. But I think a lot of institutions have been buying Bitcoin ETFs. So it's another gateway to kind of this institutional adoption that we're always talking about.
Yeah, I think that is very true. And other than now they are earning that profit from buying Bitcoin, right? And when will they start either participating in yachting product regarding using Bitcoin, or start participating in any CDFI? That is something that we're also trying to look into right now, right? Yeah. So I think what Julia mentioned, institutions, they need to see tractions first. So we are waiting for retail to join either on-chain, DeFi, RWA, whatsoever.
BTC5.
BTC5, BTC5 especially. So to bring users into, let's say, DeFi or on-chain finance, CDFi, RWA, BTC5, what would be the key elements to bring users in? Because in this cycle, we didn't see any DeFi tokens pumping, actually. We only see AI and meme token pumping, right? So what would be the element that bring user into this world? And what regions or countries are you bullish on? Can we have Julia first?
Honestly?
Yes. This is an honest panel.
Okay, we're going to speak honestly. So, firstly, meme coins. And so I gotta speak about meme coins. Like, no, I mean, we are getting there. Like, why meme coins? Because it's the first interaction for lots of users with crypto, right? So, and we are progressing quite a lot. So that's the first, like, a range of retail mass adoption. And then we are slowly getting to the second layer, which is DeFi. Because once you get experience of operating within the Web3 space, and you understand that, like, meme coins might be quite risky, so you're finding the better way to make money in crypto. So that's probably DeFi. And but what we need to get, and what we need to do is basically to, of course, improve UI UX, and to improve, like, the general user experience. So that's why, like, we are quite bullish of something like a chain abstraction, because newcomers and they just get the first experience in meme coin ecosystem, but they need to understand how to operate smoothly within different chains without having any barriers. Because actually, even if we think about, like, the Bitcoin ecosystem, right? Like, I just realized that, you know, we also have runes, luckily, but for newcomers, it's quite an interesting experience to get there, to get, like, experts and, like, to try to buy some runes meme
It's a
coins.
bad experience so
Yeah,
far, right?
I mean, I'm trying to be loyal, honest but loyal at this time. So that's why, like, you know, especially Bitcoin ecosystem, we need to improve the overall user experience by some great technology. And on the other hand, like, you know, Telegram and Ton, they do quite well in terms of bringing more and more users. And of course, these users, they're getting familiar with the space. Then we have, like, as I mentioned, like a DeFi layer. And then probably, like, you know, we will see the proper traction.
I think that's very true. My dad just opened up his Telegram account, and I taught him using Telegram wallet. I tried. He wasn't.
No.
He was learning. He's learning.
See, overall, it's all about the proper MPC wallet, to
Yeah.
be honest. Like,
Yeah.
Telegram, MPC wallet, and the good user experience. We were there.
Sounds good. And then, Jaemon, what do you think?
Well, there are two questions, right? So one is how to bring.
How to bring users
Users.
into
The second is
decentralized
where
finance,
is
and what are the regions that you think you're bullish on? Regions
the
or
regions.
countries?
Okay. I'll speak the second question first.
Okay.
So for regions, of course, I think America is the most bullish one. Yeah, of course, because they just have the new president. Not new, but a more friendly, crypto-friendly president. But I want to mention Hong Kong also. So I think Hong Kong is the second most friendly region in the world. Yeah, because they just followed USA, they have crypto license. And even, you know, the Hong Kong dollar is pegged to US dollar. So it means it's easier to get Hong Kong stablecoin there because it's related to US stablecoin. And recently I have been observing that more and more companies, they are moving to Hong Kong. For example, last month I attended a few parties. For example, Galaxy Digital, they just have their new office in Hong Kong. That is a big office, 40 people. And CoinDesk, they have their new office in Hong Kong. And an exchange called Bullish from US Foundation, they have their new office in Hong Kong. And not to mention a lot of exchanges, they have their office. And even I see Chuang, the founder of Chuang, Justin Sun, he moved to Hong Kong from nowhere, I don't know. But anyways, because my company is in Hong Kong too, so I know a lot of people in Hong Kong that attended many activities, many parties, and I can see the trend. So Hong Kong probably the second most friendly. Yeah. If you don't want to go to US, just go to Hong Kong. Yeah. The first question is how to bring users to Web3. Well, I think we can bring them by two ways. One is, as what Julia said, by wealth effect. No matter what make you rich, that will attract new users. So like 3 years ago, we have DeFi Summer. So DeFi was the tool, and NFT Summer, and now meme coin. And probably next one, I don't know, but anything. Yeah, probably, yeah. Anything that has make you rich, and we will have a lot of new users. And second is how to build connection between blockchain technology with their, traditional business. For example, RWA is a good trend. I really like our RWA. Recently, we see a lot of traditional financial guys. They are, coming to blockchain area because of RWA. Because RWA can be connected to their traditional business, no matter they were doing bond or lending or even real estate or hash rate. Yeah, they can use RWA to tokenize their traditional assets and sell them on-chain. So this is how they believe the blockchain technology, not only buy tokens, sell tokens, gambling, and a lot of other business. We call it blockchain plus or blockchain plus plus. So blockchain can plus anything. I think one day most of the traditional world will be connected to blockchain. Yeah, this is two ways I get. Yeah, thanks.
For me, for the first question, I have a lot of normie friends, non-blockchain crypto friends, and really they're just starting to kind of dabble into the crypto space on applications that have kind of this merge of the stocks plus crypto. So like in the US, obviously Robinhood is super popular. Webull is super popular, where you can trade stocks, you can have your 401k, and then you have access to be able to trade and buy crypto. I think that honestly is quite proven to be probably the best way to onboard retail. We've seen the number of Robinhood users that have bought Dogecoin, and it's such a seamless experience. And now I think today or yesterday, Robinhood, which has millions of users actively per month, they just activated Solana, XRP, and Cardano again. And that's bringing another wave of Web2 money into Web3. And then I think those kinds of products where you have Robinhood, the like traditional kind of stocks plus 401k plus Roth IRA, and then you have the ability to buy crypto, then they launch a Web3 wallet where you can interact with the Robinhood Web3 wallet. You can DCA Bitcoin and push it to a ledger if you want. That, to me personally, is the best way to onboard retail.
Arnold?
Yeah, totally. I just saw Pip listed on Robinhood, and I just see Pip listed on Robinhood, the meme coin Pip. Oh, Pepe. Yeah, it's like more and more like stock traders are coming to the crypto field for now, thanks to Robinhood. And yeah, for the decentralized finance, decentralized finance is finance. And any finance without real business is like a train without a route. So any finance without externality, a real yield, is just a social experiment. So back in 2021, the so-called DeFi summer is like a fabulous finance experiment to test if we can transfer fund, if we can trade on blockchain, but without externality. So it's like a test for the future use case of DeFi. But now we are facing a more challenging problem that our DeFi system seem to be limited to the crypto only, but not to the real business anymore. Especially, I have seen a lot of trends that try to combine the crypto field and the real world business like RWA to try to trade the US bonds with cryptos on chain, like Ondo Finance or like Ample Finance and so on. And also to use cryptocurrencies to empower the AI projects, or to make AI agents can pay with cryptocurrencies. Or, in other words, like for the stablecoin payment, I see a lot of a credit card that can use that allow users to use stablecoins, especially USDT and the USDC, to pay in real life. And I saw those three trends, like RWA, AI, and stablecoin payments will be the next future trend for the whole crypto industry to involve more so-called externality, the real yard from the running economy of the world to crypto industry. So, because after all, the cryptocurrencies is a finance industry with technology. We cannot run it without any real value from the business. That's my point of view.
So I think this question is full of alpha, because in this cycle we see that the price of Bitcoin pump, which make the trading volume pump, but we are not seeing a lot. We're not seeing a lot of users coming in, and what they just said are the next trend that would bring a lot of users into this industry, which is currently the most scarce resource in Web3, I believe. So Arnold mentioned payment, right? So that reminds me, recently we saw PayPal's PUSD getting a lot of traction. It's trading on Binance already. And also Stripe also got into Web3, acquired companies in the industry. So how would payment and Web3 come together, and how can we make users start using Web3 payment? I believe this is your expertise, Arnold.
Yeah, not my expertise, but my most interested field. Because back to the white paper of Bitcoin, we saw Satoshi Nakamoto said that the Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. So it's a cash system. So cash is for payment. But for several years development, Bitcoin has become a stored value, just like gold, but not like a way to pay. I cannot imagine anyone who pay with Bitcoin for a coffee at breakfast. They will be crazy to think about, because the Bitcoin's price is fluctuant, and the unit price of Bitcoin is too large for the payment method. But I still think over those years development and the evolution of the crypto industry itself, few fields has been proved to be true, or to have real value for the world, and one of them is stablecoin. Like the issuer of USDT, Tether, has a profit even more than BlackRock, which is astonishing, because for the centralized stablecoin, it's like a bridge between the crypto industry and the real world business. And Tether is like a bridge to charge fee for every transaction volume across the bridge. And from the real world perspective, we see the inefficiency of the banking system. Firstly, in most countries, they don't have banks, or enough banks, especially in Africa and Latin America and Southeast Asia. And many populations is unbanked. So the banking system cannot support them in a full sense. That's the first problem. And secondly, banking system, especially concerning the global remittance system, using Visa or MasterCard, or especially involving in the business and real commodity traffic. It becomes very challenging for the today's remittance system and also settlement system to execute the remittance and settlement efficiently, because for Visa and MasterCard and for most banks, they take a rest at weekends, and it takes several days or at least several hours to receive a global payment across borders. But with blockchain, especially the EVM layer 2s like Arbitrum, especially. Arbitrum pays a lot of attention to the DeFi and also payments in the field, and also for the Lightning Network. With Lightning Network or Arbitrum, we can receive a global payment in 0 seconds or in several seconds, and in very low transaction fee. But in the traditional way, with Visa or MasterCard and the iBank system, it always take several percent of transaction charges, and also takes several days or even weeks for the global remittance. So there will be an efficiency enhancement for over 1,000% comparing to today's payment system. So that's a real value that crypto can bring to the world. So I pay a lot of attention to the field related to the payment. And I saw a lot of evolution that, and many teams has been working for this field. Especially, firstly, Tether is trying to execute the global remittance, like oil trading, with USDT. And also they invest largely in RGB protocol and Lightning Network, and also the payment wallets in Latin America to make Bitcoin and USDT one of the choice that can to be the payment method in the third world, and also in the crypto-friendly countries like Switzerland and Hong Kong. And in USA, I see a Circle has partnered with Stripe and Coinbase, and also Solana adopted PYUSD and USDC to be one of the payment for the Solana ecosystem, especially real world business with the Solana ecosystem. And that's a good trend that people finally realize the true value that the crypto can bring to the world, and make it more efficient with Lightning Network and blockchain.
Yeah, and so because we are a bit running behind the schedule, I got some message telling us to Russia, but because we have very prestigious VCs over here, very experienced VCs. You mentioned several trends that you guys are looking at right now. So it would be lovely if you can kind of share with us what recently you've been doing to catch the trend. I would say, Julia, could you show us something?
I didn't do much to catch the trend, just like, hanging out with people, trying to understand what's happening on the market. But yeah, I could elaborate on what's been said, actually, because we are talking more about like a retail adoption and what kind of trends we see in the Web3 space. So, and it's interestingly, I believe, we are kind of going back to the roots and getting to another cycle, because I remember 2017, what people talked about, using Bitcoin as an international payment system because it's fast, it's convenient, and then it's also about financial inclusion and about the anti-inflationary kind of tool. That's what we are seeing nowadays. And that's why, like, of course, payment is one of the trends because it helps people to get familiar with crypto. As you said, your dad is downloading like and using Telegram wallet because it's quite convenient and you can send money to all your friends. And then we have like a blockchain companies with a company all over the world. So that's why, like, we can send salary to our colleagues and it's also convenient. So that's what people are doing. In terms of the things that I'm actively observing in the market is, first of all, I see like lots of real Web2 businesses are getting on Web3. And I might say Solana quite succeed around building that type of the ecosystem. What I mean, like, because why I'm saying we are going back to the roots, because what is the practical use case of Web3 technology? It's just to reduce the operational costs by using a decentralized system and to like, to taking off all the third parties and making that direct operational kind of system on Web3. So that's why I'm seeing like interesting projects. One was like a writing application. There was like a Web3 marketplace where you make the proper track and trace CRM system, warehouse system, and it's all on blockchain because of course it's cheaper, and then you can see and track everything that's happening, and then like, ending up like a DPP, which is like a digital product passport for all the goods, and then it's gonna be traced. That's the whole kind of, we are leveraging technology the way it should be. So transparency, international payment, and like reducing the cost of operations. So, and of course it will get us to the next stage where we can see the institutional mass adoption and enterprises are using this technology.
Okay, well, speaking of the trend, I mentioned RWA, and I want to elaborate a little bit. So actually, not only Bitcoin benefits from the U.S. election, but also RWA. So, right now the whole crypto industry, the market cap is 3 trillion, but the traditional financial world is like more than 300 trillion. That is 100 times, and beneficial from the more and more friendly regulation policy. I think we can expect more and more RWA startups. Actually, recently we have been we have just invested one RWA launching platform. So it was supported by some big whales like Blackstone and like Morgan Stanley and etc. Before they dare not to come into crypto world, and after the U.S. election, right now they are actively looking for opportunities in crypto world. This is a huge change, and the first RWA asset we are going to issue, I mean the platform that we invested is like similar to what Ondo Finance did. It's a U.S. bond related stablecoin. It's like one tokenized money market fund, and this is the first asset. And the second asset will be some lending products, like P2P lending products. That will provide much higher yield APY compared with the DeFi products. So for P2P lending products, usually they provide 20% or even higher than 30% APY. So that is hard to imagine in DeFi world right now. I mean, not in DeFi summer, but right now it's very hard to find yield higher than 10% APY. But in P2P world, yeah, still it's very high. And also they want to tokenize a lot more things. For example, the hash rate of Bitcoin miners and all the real estate, not renting market, but some very specific small area. So it means we can expect higher yield product from RWA track, not from DeFi track. So my prediction is if we put Bitcoin in middle, so Bitcoin right now is connected between traditional world and crypto world. On the left is, we call it crypto native, DeFi, meme coin, or ZK or whatever narratives on the left. And on the right is crypto related traditional financial products like ETF. ETF is RWA, and other tokenized fund, money market fund, or crypto-related stocks. For example, MicroStrategy, the price increased 10 times in the past 1 year, but Bitcoin price just increased 2 or 3 times. Actually, the stock market has better volume, better liquidity than crypto-native world. So right now, what's left on the left is a meme coin. It's like gambling, to be honest. But on the right, we have a much bigger traditional financial world that is 100 times bigger than left. So for Water Capital, right now we're focusing more on the right part. That is Bitcoin and Bitcoin-related crypto traditional business. So that's a bigger world, I think. Yeah.
So I guess the typical saying is like if you're chasing the train, if you're chasing the trend, you're kind of chasing your own tail, right? Because you're late, basically, right? If you're chasing the trend, you're late. So for us at Sats Ventures, we invest super early. We're always typically first check-in. We work with the founders. We look to see what's absolutely missing in the Bitcoin space, and we work with them to fill in that gap. And that's super important. We don't go chasing trends because they will come and go very quickly, and we do not want to be the exit liquidity. So the things that I've seen so far that have been really successful in the Bitcoin space have been the merging of Bitcoin and other layer ones that have really no activity. So I'll give you a really good example. Very recently, we invested into Echo Protocol, which is bridging about 2,000 Bitcoin over to Aptos. And what does that enable Aptos to do? It enables them to kickstart all of the pools that they have been looking to build this liquidity for. And that's just kind of a little bit of what's going to be happening with the Move ecosystem and the Bitcoin narrative. This is something that a lot of Bitcoin investors have not really been looking at, but it's something that is up and coming. So this is one key trend. The second trend is going to be there's a lot of Bitcoin people, Bitcoin whales, Bitcoin holders that don't want to sell, but they want liquidity. Bitcoin-backed stablecoin. So we invested into a company called Bima, which allows you to take your Bitcoin, stake it, take your staked Bitcoin or your restaked Bitcoin, and use that as collateral to mint a USD-based stablecoin. So now you can gain liquidity without having to necessarily sell your particular asset. I think these two are going to be massive to unlocking DeFi on Bitcoin Layer 1. I think for all of us here, because we're Bitcoin people, we obviously love the Bitcoin ecosystem, and we're going to talk about it. It's the most liquid. It's the biggest asset in the crypto space, and hopefully soon to be in the world. And we have to unlock it, right? So whether it's scaling solutions, new layers, whatever, for us, what we care about is that people are actually actively trying to make Bitcoin more usable, more active, the greatest asset in the world. That's what we all care about.
I can't agree with you more. Every cycle, there are different tokens coming up, and there is a token that always comes up first. That is Bitcoin. So I think even though this is not really a panel about Bitcoin, but we happen to be all very focused on very involved in the Bitcoin ecosystem. So I think this is actually very interesting. And I was at another panel earlier today, and we were talking about like how, other than AI and memes, there aren't a lot of clear signs about the next narratives. So I think this is a very insightful and full of alpha, a panel full of alpha. So my one last question, since we are wrapping up, because we mentioned about DeFi, and DeFi has been lying flat this cycle. So will DeFi has its glory again? And when will DeFi come back? Will DeFi come back, and when is it? Arnold?
A simple answer. Native Bitcoin DeFi can make DeFi great again.
I'm just going to go with a little bit of a different direction. This is going to kind of surprise the two of you, who I know we talk about Bitcoin all the time. I've been speaking to a few miners, and some of the biggest Bitcoin miners also mine other things outside of Bitcoin. They also mine Litecoin, and Litecoin is merge mined with Dogecoin. And both of them are basically forks of Bitcoin. So very similar developer grouping, very similar kind of, there's a kind of a supply and demand crunch potential. And there are two ecosystems that have so much liquidity, but have nothing in those ecosystems at all, Dogecoin and Litecoin. And none of them even have wrapped versions on Ethereum that have great liquidity pools that allows you to trade. So if I were to look at something that's going to be really interesting and to keep an eye on, and I mentioned this several months ago, I got laughed at a lot. Keep an eye out on the Dogecoin ecosystem and keep an eye out on the Litecoin ecosystem. It's basically at zero today, but there are developers that are building Dogecoin-based swaps, that are building Dogecoin-based layers, that are building Dogecoin-based staking opportunities. And if any of you are Dogecoin holders, there's 4-point-something million Dogecoin wallets out there. It's quite cool to see that something's actually happening, right? So I think something similar is going to happen with Litecoin as well, and that's all I'll say.
Now we have another Doge, so you need to specify which Dogecoin you are talking about.
Yeah, the Dogecoin one.
Old school one.
Yeah, the old school one, yeah.
Well, first of all, I think I agree that the traditional DeFi is lying flat, but actually it's not that bad. So look at Uniswap, it still have very good revenue and profits, and RV, AVE, their price doubled in the past 1 year. That's not bad. But if the DeFi want to go to the next stage, I think it should be integrated with Bitcoin. Yeah, that's true. Because I'll give you some numbers. So compared with Ethereum or other POS ecosystem, so 27% of all of those POS tokens are staked right now. And the number for Bitcoin is less than 3%. So that's like a 9 times gap. So if we can stake more Bitcoin, no matter it's staked in some stable coin or some lending protocol or some just pure layer 2 staking, and then we have much better or higher liquidity. And then the volume will be bigger because Ethereum is not performing very well, and all those POS ecosystem is not performing very well. They don't have so much liquidity. And Bitcoin is 10 times or even higher, bigger, than them. So I think DeFi really should consider moving to Bitcoin to have their Bitcoin eco version. And yeah, probably it will go to next level, yeah.
There are different DeFi levels I might highlight. The very simple one is that actually it's one of the major part of the roadmap of Ton ecosystem. It's the very simplified DeFi for those retail users that I just mentioned. Then, of course, we have this traditional DeFi. And what we need in that traditional DeFi, we actually, overall, we need to bridge all the chains and to provide cross-chain user experience and to simplify user experience, and then link that probably to Bitcoin to make it BTCify, as Kevin just mentioned, and then the next level is make them backed by real assets, which is RWA. So, and it's funny is a few days back, I met the guy who actually was the author of Chain Signatures technology, and he just said, give me your email, I will send you a testnet Bitcoin on your email, just as simple as that. And that is, I believe that's the solution we're all expecting, right? Without even thinking about the chain, I'm giving you my email, just send me your Bitcoin, that's it.
Wow, this is probably the most insightful panel I have heard through the whole week. I arrived on Monday, been through this is Thursday, right? So it has been 4 days. A lot of alpha. I actually learned a lot, and I hope everyone's enjoyed this panel. And I'm also working as a VC, a bit more rookier, but these are some real insights which came out from their heart after thinking through about the whole cycle, after been through the previous 3-4 cycles. I think this is truly very exciting for me. And I hope everyone had a good time. And we're moving on to the next panel, I believe.